Welcome to the Gotham Outsiders, our Batman video game club. Wondering if it was a mistake to model my entire 5-year plan off a guy I met in Arkham Asylum once. I'm your host, Chris, Bat Obsessive, and the other stitch in this thread with me, my co-host, TJ.
Hi, everyone. I am your Chris proclaimed Batman acolyte.
But we are not alone today. Much like Batman, we have many a cameo. And today's cameo is our third-time returning guest, series director of Telltale Games, Mudle.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
So good to have you again.
No,
Yeah,
I can't
fabulous.
believe we've got you on 3 times and more to come.
It's amazing what Batman will do to people. That'll bring us together.
Batman brings everyone together.
Yeah.
Usually when he's rounding them up, but
he has a lot of gadgets that do that, actually.
Yeah. He grappled us into one little knot.
And Kent, you were saying this game, the sequel, Batman Enemy Within, it's fresher in your mind. Are these like your children? Can you pick one that's your favorite?
Oh, it's definitely the second one.
Okay.
Like,
I didn't want to offend you and be like,
more. I think the second one is objectively better. I mean, it's just like,
yeah,
a lot of it is like stuff we almost did in the first game. It's almost like we got a second go at the whole concept, right?
Ooh.
And like things were a little freer, and it was like our second time doing the same series. So it's like there's so much stuff we didn't have to figure out. Like we knew what the characters sounded like, we knew what kind of the tone was, and so like having all that groundwork already done gave you a lot of time to just like push things to like the highest level of quality we could achieve.
Yeah.
And it is gayer, so
much gayer.
It is so much gayer,
and also way hornier.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's funny. It's funny that it's hornier because the first season is the one with the sex scene, but this one is.
I know, man.
But it's still hornier, just overall.
The sex scene was not as horny as the slushy scene from the second one.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. I did go and watch that sex scene, by the way, after we talked about it.
It's good.
Yes.
Good. But yeah, let's linger on the gayness aspect for a little bit.
Sure, anytime.
Okay, because when I think about it, I'm like, John was very obviously aware of it or not. I think he was in love with Bruce, and of course there's that moment where Bruce straight up can ask, like, are you in love with me? Like, how did you get away with that? And like, I don't know, what led you to that moment?
Truly, my notes also say, how do you get away with that?
That's funny. I think we get away with, because honestly, Joker is like, there's just a lot of history to him being like basically in love with Batman.
Yeah.
In a way that like borders on the romantic pretty frequently. Like there's like, what is that like one Frank Miller comic with Batman and Joker in the white suit?
Is it Dark Knight Returns?
Yes, that one. It's like they stab each other in the tunnel of love.
Yes.
And like their blood forms a heart. And like Joker's just hardcore flirting with him the whole fight. So it's just like, thankfully, like, and you know, I'll take any chance to make someone gay, but like there's just a lot of history for like Joker being like really into Batman, like a little more than just like I love fighting him.
Yeah.
So that stuff wasn't that hard.
Oh, that's awesome. So you could fall back on here's the comics, it's canon.
Yeah. The thing, okay. Yeah, I mean, honestly, and that stuff was honestly never really challenged, to be fair, from like DC or whatever. It's like we knew we were never going to try to make like Bruce is the player, but he's basically canonically straight.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the game, like you can't ever really make it gay, even though there's that one bit in the Villain Route where Bruce can say, "You broke my heart, John," which is really good.
Which I definitely said.
That's a really good bit, and but basically, as long as like Bruce kind of stays stable, like Joker and the villains and stuff are kind of wibbly wobbly, and I think especially Joker having a history of it made it more possible.
Yeah.
And we might have talked about this a little bit last time, but what was your thinking behind making such a radically different version of the Joker?
What was it? I mean, I think the whole thing was like, we always wanted each season to have kind of like a twist on like established Batman canon, or it's like, otherwise, why are we making it?
Yeah.
And so like, we definitely wanted to do the like, you make the supervillain thing, like the character is like the culmination of your choices.
Yeah.
That's kind of there's in a lot of Telltale games, there's kind of a character I kind of refer to as like the choice receptacle character. If you guys remember how The Walking Dead went down, like Clementine is basically the choice receptacle character. Like she's the character that most frequently remembers what you said and most frequently is like affected by your choices in ways that sort of ripple out across the story.
Right, the little pop-up that says Alfred will remember this, and then you panic like, oh no.
Oh, this game added in the little bubble that says your relationship has changed. I had so many panic attacks.
Yes, I think that was a creation of one of the designers, Mike Kirkbride, and that was like a new level of, because I remember that was interesting because like the notifications, it was like we were like always kind of worried about the meta reputation at Telltale, like what choices really matter, and people almost becoming like numb to the notifications after a point because like sometimes even the audience could tell the notifications were bullshit. So the relationship has changed up is more about like, because sometimes the only real consequence is like characters get a different attitude related to you, but like the plot doesn't change. Right. So our thinking was to have a different kind of notification just for those kind of changes, which might not necessarily affect the plot, but could affect like, does this person hate me next time I see them kind of thing.
Interesting, because it just definitely affected my anxiety.
That's really the point. Just what the notification was supposed to make you go, oh shit, oh fuck, what did I do?
Yeah, exactly. Because it doesn't give you any indication whether it was a good change or a bad one. You just have to find that out yourself. That's
like real life. You don't know, right?
I know.
Like, did this conversation change my relationship with that person?
Oof, woof.
Yeah, too real. And by extension of the Joker being so different, we have to talk about Harley Quinn. Yes. I was not expecting the take on their relationship, where she is very much wearing the pants in the relationship, and we have like simp Joker. I love it.
Yes, girl boss Harley Quinn like, out here gaslighting, gatekeeping. I loved it.
Can you give us some? I don't know, like an origin? I mean, did that just stem from John being so different?
That was something that the writers had really early on, and I didn't come up with that at all, but I was like super happy that's what it was, because like the Joker Harley relationship has just been done to death.
Yeah.
And like every modern take on Harley has the like she's getting over an abusive relationship with Joker thing.
Yeah.
So the idea of instead Harley sort of being the abuser like was just so fresh and interesting to me. Maybe like that's the only reason I wanted that. I don't know if I could have made a call or not, but it's like that's the only with that pitch I was like, okay, that justifies us putting Harley in this thing at all.
Yeah.
Because what else could we say with Harley that hasn't already been said? And flipping her to that character where she's just so like girl boss gaslight gatekeep. Yes. It really is. That meme wasn't out yet when we wrote this, but that's super true.
You caused that meme. You didn't know it, but you did.
She's just so cool and like powerful, and she's like such a horrible person.
Yes. And the scene where she is like, my favorite toy is John. I was damn.
Yeah, don't touch my toys. And I love how all that stuff comes to the head too. Like what is it, like Harley's always using Joker, but then in the villain route, Joker kind of becomes her equal, and she sort of like actually trusts him for a bit, and then it blows up all in her face.
Yeah.
Because of like how badly she planned this whole thing. Like I don't know if you guys saw the villain route, but the stuff where she's like legitimately mad at Joker for like clearly favoring Bruce over her. Yeah. It's like super good stuff.
Once again, TJ and I went down the same route accidentally.
Yeah. I kind of imagined you would.
We went down the vigilante route. I was again trying to save him with my love. It did not work.
Kat, you had sent me a link to the other ending. I straight up didn't watch it yet.
That's fair.
I'm sorry. No, I'm going to because I want
you should, because I do actually think the villain route is really good. Because it's like you get traditional Joker, but it's still the same Joker that went through everything to get there.
Yeah.
So there's actually almost maybe even gayer stuff on that route.
What?
Oh my God, I have to replay.
Because the ending of that route is similarly the Vigilante Route has Batman versus Joker at the end. Yeah. It's Bruce versus the Joker at the end of the other route. So they're both in suits, stabbing each other at the top of a funhouse. It gets really intimate and bloody.
Yeah, stabbing, that metaphor. You know?
Yeah, that scene where they're stabbing each other, even in the vigilante route, was hella gay. So gay.
Oh yes, definitely.
In front of the pictures of their relationship, and he's just like, "Did you ever love me?"
That was so great. That line, the love line, that was put in by writer Megan Thornton, who was the lead writer of that episode. She was so good.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was kind of like, I was shocked and I couldn't believe it. But I was like, so yes, good. Thank God. Because there was actually a really funny, regarding the gayness, there was actually a really funny moment. Basically around, I think, near the end of making episode 4, actually. because all the writers had kind of just been collectively adding to the gayness, but no one had we hadn't talked about it. But I remember one point I had a conversation with one of the designers, and he was like, we should just commit internally, like, John is bisexual.
Yes.
And so we're like, yeah, like John, absolutely, that's what's going on here. And so at that point, that's when like the love Tim lines and stuff.
Now, did you interpret John as like being aware of his feelings for Bruce, or was it more like subconscious at that point?
By the end, I think he's completely clear on it, but it's like growing across the course of the thing, right? I actually think this almost isn't. I don't know if this was completely intended, but a nice reading of how it went is like, there's that part where you can ask him if he loves you or not, and he's like, he pauses and hesitates. He's like, no. And it's very much like, I don't know if I believe that, but basically it's like he wasn't really himself yet. He finally becomes himself when he becomes Vigilante Joker or Villain Joker. And it's like John was repressed and couldn't really express how he wanted to be, but then when he really becomes himself in episode 5, then he's finally able to actually express his feelings.
Yes, we love it.
Sense. Yeah.
He's like he's a cocoon, he's a chrysalis thing kind of going throughout the season, and he finally blossoms into his true fucked up self, and then he's nothing is hidden anymore. It's all on the table.
One of my favorite moments is when they're in the villain hideout, and John is like listing all the reasons why they should let Bruce in, and he kind of gets away from him, and he's like, he's handsome. He's just so handsome.
I need to tell you, I wrote that bit.
Yes.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I wrote that dialogue verbatim. I did a bunch of, because like that puzzle in that scene like wasn't working, so I wrote a bunch of stuff in that scene. I had a bunch of Bane stuff too. But I asked him like we should let Bruce in. He's like, he's smart and handsome and cool and talented and handsome, like so handsome. You guys wouldn't even believe. Like,
well, after you revealed your Bruce Harvey agenda last time, this does not shock me.
So then, did you have a hand in writing their fake date?
No, I think that was almost entirely. I think that was Ross Bealey on episode 3. But that was one of my favorites. We always called that scene the coffee date. Like there was no like ambiguity about what that scene is about, and like the like incredible like subtext of like, tell me how to get good with the ladies.
Oh, that was such a good impression.
It was good.
Anthony Gruber, by the way, who is the Joker, incredible actor.
Oh yes.
He added so much to the role. He was just sort of like chaotic and manic and weird and like.
I love it.
It's funny. He was really good at the like unhinged stuff, and then. Took longer to get to like the suave stuff in the Villain Joker route, but like the unhinged stuff he just did super well, and like the weirdness and adding like weird little visual ticks to it, verbal ticks that we never would have thought of. He was super good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! On my coffee day, I don't know if you also had this, Chris, but I had Bruce do like Harley impersonations.
When he said "puddin'," he was like "puddin'."
So I have a funny story about that too. So
please,
voice actor Batman Troy Baker, who is an incredibly huge industry voice actor. He's awesome,
so good,
great. And he just like incredible professional, will like rattle through a million lines. He did not like the idea of Bruce pretending to be Harley.
Oh no!
So he did it like legitimately kind of pissed off that he had to do it, and you could hear it in the performance that he hates it, and it makes it work. And it's like super, because we wrote that and he's like, this is stupid. Like Bruce wouldn't do this. Like, you want me to do a Harley voice? Like, what do you think? I'm like, please Troy, just do it. And he's like, all right, fucking. He just rattled it off like sounding super pissed, and it makes it so funny that he hates doing it.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, Troy Baker was great. Like, I know I said last time, like, Kevin Conroy is Batman, but Troy Baker, like, I keep catching myself hearing Troy Baker as, like, Bruce, Batman, either one. And I know we were joking about the TMNT movie before we recorded, but he played Batman and Bruce in that movie, and he's fantastic.
Wait, did he? He was Batman in something else?
Yes, the TMNT versus Batman movie.
Yeah,
I should look that up. I haven't heard of him.
It's so good.
I knew he was Joker in one of the Arkham games, so he can do like everything. But I didn't know he was Batman or anything else.
I think he's playing Joker in the Long Halloween movie coming out too.
Nice.
Sure. That's good. He does a very good Joker.
Yeah. Not to turn this into a Troy Baker stan podcast.
we can stand Troy Baker. He's great.
Yeah.
There's like, once you've worked with him, you're like, there's a reason this guy gets so much work. Like. He just says things with perfect consistency and perfect performance. He'll rattle off hundreds of lines. It was amazing working with him.
Yes, we can turn it into that, but I am going to divert us right back to the coffee shop because I'm not done.
Oh, please.
Okay,
No,
please,
we're not done.
Please.
Yeah.
I just love like everything about this scene is so perfect. This is I swear I've read this fanfic. Like it's truly like the fake dating fanfic that like we're pretending to date so you learn how to date, but then it becomes a little too real. Like there's a moment when he's like Joker's getting into it, the character, and he grabs Bruce and shakes him and screams, "Why don't you love me?" And there's just a moment where his eyes are like, "Oh shit, I'm this is about Harley, not you."
Right. Like, who hasn't been there?
It's perfect. It's the funniest. Perfect. It's the funniest thing.
It's so good.
Yeah. Bruce is like, I've written this fic.
Yeah, what's funny too, this isn't like this is not a slight against anyone who like worked on the game, but I think the reason so much of that stuff gets by is like the homosexuality is essentially played for laughs. Like it's like gay jokes, you know. And so like that kind of stuff is like completely acceptable to I think even most audiences. Like even if they get a hint of the gay, it's like if it's funny, they don't mind.
Right.
When it's
it'll
sincere,
slip by the straights, they won't mind it.
Go right over their heads.
Yeah, because they're just like they'll laugh at that scene too, right? But they won't be like reading it as like a legitimate like gay romance scene.
Right.
But then when it's like sincere near the very end, that's when people normally go like, wait a second, is this shit gay?
Like,
it's too gay. No,
yeah,
homo,
but the homoeroticism for comedy, I think, goes down easy, and there's a ton of that in the game. So that's why I think there was so much of it, honestly, because it's like it's like haha gay, but like actually, but also like also
actually
gay.
It's that meme where it's like we could be gay. Just kidding, unless.
Yes. It is that.
But I do think the relationship between John and Bruce in this game is like the best part, because like when we start out, like he shows up at the funeral and I didn't trust him at all. Like he gives me the card and I was like, I didn't want it. Like I felt bad for John, but I was like, he's creepy, he's dangerous. And then by the end, when you have the option to let him go off on his own and find Harley, I trusted him. And when you find out John has like murdered all these people, like that scene was just so sad, because like at that point I don't want to say I loved John, but I don't know, I was kind of rooting for them. And I said that I believed him in that scene because I believe that he believed it even if it wasn't true. So I don't know, it worked for me.
I definitely had a similar moment with Harvey in the first game where I was like, okay, but they're not going to like let me make him good, right? Like, but what if they did? And I'm going to just keep trying and see. Like, I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I wanted it to. And I am well established on the show as hating the Joker generally. Meanwhile, in this game, I literally had the words, "Oh, he's so cute," come out of my mouth.
He is.
It was the scene when he made the banner that said "Welcome, Brucey." I was just like, he's just so wholesome. And then I was like, this is the Joker. I need to sit down and think about my life.
I have the little picture where he pasted Bruce's face over like some other random guy's face. Yes. Oh, it's so funny. It's such a quick shot. It's so funny.
I love
my
it
two
so
little notes about Joker. Might have said this last time, so I'm sorry if I did. But the fact that his like jeans or pants are rolled up, showing his ankles, I was like, confirmed bisexual Joker.
Okay, the ankles, then the two different like button-ups he wears at different points, like he's going through the whole bisexual catalog of fashion, and then you get to his vigilante costume, and I was like, that's just a whole ass bisexual right there. I don't.
And I was like, okay, so this is twink Joker, right? Like,
oh my god.
I was like, you did this, Kent. It was you.
Yeah, I can't take credit for how he looks, but I do love it.
We definitely mentioned how every villain is hot in these games, and this just continues to be the case, because Riddler in that outfit, what the hell?
He was such a good villain.
He was so good.
I remember when Riddler was first revealed, a bunch of Tumblr people started calling him Hot Puzzle Grandpa.
I mean, that's accurate.
Yeah, and I was like, true.
Yeah.
Because he's got a little gray in his hair,
He did, yeah, he's definitely got the DILF energy going in this game.
That one cutscene where they show the prison footage of him when he breaks out of Pina Duro. He's just like smoldering at the camera. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. I love his like little suit that he has going on, the hood, a whole thing. It was great.
He's intense. Like, he reminds me of like, so I just saw the new Saw movie. He reminds me of like Jigsaw.
I wrote Saw in this also.
Yes.
I mean, that was basically the idea. It was like, where do you take, if you're gonna put Riddler in like a Nolan movie or like a more modern Batman or something, what would they do with him? He wouldn't have like cutesy traps.
Right.
He would do something scary and like, we were an M-rated game, so we could get away with like chopping fingers off and stuff. So like,
and
why not
heads?
And heads. Yeah, and heads.
Just saying.
Right away.
Yeah.
I love his cane, which is a scythe, and also which is like a grappling hook, which is also like a grappling hook, so he can grapple away as well.
Yeah, I love them. There was like a fight scene where he was using it, and that was so cool.
Yeah, I remember. I think I designed that whole opening sequence where you're like in the casino as Bruce.
Oh my gosh!
You see Joker kind of across the way, and not Joker, Riddler kind of across the way, and then he tears that guy's throat out, and blood goes all over the table, and you're like, "That's the game. We're starting now." And like.
Well,
I just wanted to really like wake the audience up, right?
Yeah, it worked. Success.
Yeah. My first note in my notes is the second game opening is so good, very cinematic, and I noticed it was full screen. I don't know if that was just me that it was different for, but I was like, wow.
Yeah, it was full screen. No, it's like the first season had black bars on it, kind of like just to make it feel a little more cinematic.
Yeah.
And I remember all that did was make gamers angry at it. So we're like, we're not gonna do that again the second time. They were like, how can I get the black bars to go away? Where like, is there an option to play this without the black bars? And there literally is no picture under the black bars. So it's like there was no option to get away, but like no one gave us credit for making it look more like movie like black bars. So like, that was entirely a navel gazing like we're filmateurs thing that resulted in no fruit. So we're like, full screen, it's fine.
Oh, well, it was noticeable, and when it started, I was like, oh wow, this is different, and just combined with that opening scene, like it worked so well.
Yeah, I love that opening. It's super fun. Get into a Bruce scene, they go straight to a Batman scene. It's just cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
We should talk about how much Bruce Wayne there is in this one, and how much I loved it. Like. A large portion he is undercover as Bruce Wayne criminal, which by the way, his little criminal outfit that he puts on is so funny to me. I was like, that is the outfit Bruce Wayne picks to go be a criminal.
He's got a little riding cap, and he's got a scarf. No one will ever know.
I was like, why are you so bad at this?
Well, I remember last time, Chris, you picked to be Batman more than I did. I was Bruce a lot more than you were. But in this one, I think you were forced to be Bruce.
Yeah, pretty much. But I liked it. I think the one time when you were right. But then one time we switched it because I was Bruce when I went to face Harvey and it got real gay. I don't know. Maybe I leaned into the Bruce because I was like, here's the gay. Let's be clear. I know they're the same person, but Bruce was way gayer than Batman in this. I don't know what to tell you.
Bruce is just very handsome. You can see his whole face. He can make gayer expressions,
That's what it is.
And he teams up with Amanda Waller, who I didn't expect to be in this game.
Oh, I love Waller.
I tried really hard not to team up with her. I don't know about you, TJ, but I just kept trying not to.
I gave into it. I think when Bane attacked, I needed to pick between Gordon and Amanda Waller, and I went with her just because I knew she was in charge.
Oh, I went with Gordon, and it was a really sweet scene.
Yeah, apparently,
didn't get that.
Yeah, I was in the minority there.
Yeah, we got to talk about that scene because there are definitely as for Batman fans, there are certain images that evoke a trauma response, and Bane.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Bane lifting Batman over his head. I literally pulled my legs up into the chair and cringed in preparation.
Yeah, the break the bat pose was very intentionally evoked, right?
I knew it.
It was like, if you don't stop him right now, he's gonna do the break the bat thing. Holy shit! Click on that thing. Does it happen?
I didn't wait and find out. I just clicked it.
I can't actually remember if we actually animated the fail there.
Oh God.
I feel like we might have, but it might just be really quick.
Yeah.
Because we just don't usually put that much budget into the fails because most people don't fail.
Right.
So it's
Yeah. Yeah, Bane was scary. Just I wasn't expecting as many villains in this as we got. Just all of them, Mr. Freeze. I love his design. It's so cool.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze was fun. I liked him.
Mr. Freeze was fun. Yeah, he was a little bit of a victim of the scope of the season. He was definitely supposed to have more stuff going on with him. He kind of gets written out at certain points.
Yeah.
I want to say one Mr. Freeze thing behind the scenes is that we had a design for him that was like I really liked, but DC thought it was too far away from his canon design, which was like he was like Death of a Salesman guy. He was like a guy in a long trench coat with a hat and little red glasses. And one of his hands is holding a briefcase, and that hand is like the gauntlet, like hidden by the thing, and the briefcase is all dripping with icicles.
Nice. Was he hotter in that version too? Just out of curiosity.
I think he was always going to be like a creepy old man. So he was never particularly hot. But I was kind of like, I didn't really like that he ended up blue. And the only thing caveat I got is he didn't have to have a helmet on. Because I'm like, our world was like a little bit realistic, semi, and then a blue guy shows up. I'm like, all right, well, that ship has sailed now.
Well, it worked for me. I liked that it was traditional, but at the same time, very different. Yeah. But I'm intrigued to see the other one.
I liked that when you were talking about all the different villains coming in. I liked that there was briefly this little like villainous found family.
Yes.
When Bane is like, we're better when we're together. And I'm like, why is this inspirational?
Oh my gosh. And then Selina comes back.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Our girl.
That's a good cliffhanger in the second episode. Like, oh shit, she's here. She knows who I am.
Ugh,
my journey with her was wild.
It can go pretty up and down in the season. How did it go for you?
So I was like, okay, Selina, I was all into it. She kind of pissed me off a little bit. And when Gordon goes after her, I could warn her or I couldn't. And I didn't warn her.
You didn't warn her?
No, she was going after the laptop.
I 100% warned her.
I didn't want her to get it. And I figured she could take care of herself. And plus, she kind of had it coming. So I was like, you know what?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I let her into the Bat Cave. We made up. And then, of course, she gets not recruited, but forced into the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And apparently I'm in the 0.1% that did get her free at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I did too. High five.
Yay.
That is so funny because a lot of that is so rare. So many people were mad about that.
Oh no.
Because it's a kind of rare condition. You have to both agree. It's kind of deep in a tree because you have to like agree to let Waller do you favors. Mm-hmm. And then on the Selina choice, of which there are 3 options, you have to choose the let her go free one. And that's the only way you get totally free Selina.
Right. Well, by the end, I was like, where's Selina? Like, I kind of wanted more resolution with her. And then it popped up with the option to free her. And I was like, oh, thank God. Like, but to my understanding, in the other ending, she's much more evolved, right?
Selina's in a lot of the villain routes, like way more. Oh. She's also a prisoner in like Joker's Funhouse thing, and you guys do a whole bunch of stuff together. Oh. If you watch anything in the villain route, you just need to watch the best, pretty much just the 2 ending fight scenes, because there's a fight scene where it is Bruce and Selina versus Harley and Joker, and it's the couple battle of the century.
Oh, cute! I love it.
No, I'm definitely gonna go watch it.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, we should talk about the Vigilante Route, which we both went down, because it's my favorite thing in this entire game. I loved it so much. So we get, if we make the right choices, which in this case are to be constantly flirting with Joker, as far as I can tell, he briefly becomes your Robin, basically.
Yeah, he's just like Batman now.
It's so cute. He does a villain land. I mean, as a hero land at one point, just like Batman does.
His intro where he throws down the purple smoke bomb and like comes out of the sky with his insane circus music theme playing. Yes. And he's got his own grappling hook made of teeth. It's like
it's the greatest. And then it becomes a Hurt Comfort fan fiction at one point.
Yeah, kind of.
It does, because Bruce Wayne gets hurt and then he carries him to Alfred and he sits there and talks to him while he patches himself up, and it's just the cutest thing.
That's so good. There's also a ton of dialogue. I wonder if there's a YouTube video of it. Joker and Alfred just chat in the background of that scene while you do stuff, and there's like a ton of dialogue. Like again, I think it's mostly Ross Bealey stuff, who was just great at just rambling Joker content.
It was deeply so cute.
It's like the stuff where he asked Alfred like what Bruce was like when he was a boy. He asked Alfred like, is the Wayne Manor haunted? Like how many rooms are in the Wayne Manor? Like it's all very adorable.
It's so cute. Oh, I love it so much. And he just wants someone to care for him the way Alfred cares for Bruce. And so he gets Alfred to put like stuff on his barely a scratch. It's the cutest thing.
I have a question in my notes. I wanted to know who made John's weapons, and I felt like that was a mystery that never got resolved, but I don't remember why.
Oh, really? I got it. Was it not? Maybe it was the choice he made, because I got the answer to that.
I don't know. I didn't know if that was like if Kent knew or if it was like a plot thing.
It was a plot thing. I got it. It was
Willie made the weapons,
yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Maybe
Willie, a reoccurring character, Willie. Who joins Joker's gang is a metal worker.
Yeah.
And there's like in the click around investigation scene in the yard near the end, you can find there's like ID of like who did the metal work or whatever.
Yeah, it's on the back of, if you like turned over one of the Joker's things, it's on the back who made it.
I remember that's when I learned.
I
remember that's when I learned the word silver filigree. I didn't know what filigree was until this game.
No, this was my last note. I was like, oh, by the way, who made John's weapons?
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, though, I have no fucking idea who like put together a grappling hook for him. There's no excuse for that.
Okay.
Like it's like we know that Willie made his batarangs, and outside of that, like I don't know. Like,
did Joker did he sew the suit? Is what I want to know, because it's really badly stitched.
Oh.
He did, because there's dialogue where you click on him in that hurt comfort scene, and he confirms that he like stole a bunch of clothes from thrift stores and pants as well.
I was very distracted.
So he like slapped it together, and he clearly did his own hair and makeup. You know,
I was distracted by how gay it was, so I wasn't investigating openly in that scene.
Yeah, that's the only thing. He tells a little bit of the backstory. He's like he fell in the water and like Willie found him.
Yeah,
and then he hid for months, but he like stole a bunch of clothes from random stores and slapped it together somehow. Yeah,
it's so cute. I love that you can see the stitches, so it's like very obvious, like an amateur made it.
Yes,
so good, so good.
His stupid pointy shoulders.
His stupid pointy shoulder, and the way he makes his hair look like Batman's ears.
Yes, got the Wolverine hairstyle going on.
Yes.
It's so funny.
I agreed with John though. Like I thought Waller needed to be taken down.
I agree.
Even if that meant releasing my identity, and I like wanted to have that option, even though I understand why it wasn't one. I like was so frustrated while playing because I was like, I just want to take her down. I don't care what the consequences are.
I love that TJ and I constantly made the choice that revealed our identity to people both games. By the end, Joker knew who I was, and the last one, Harvey and Catwoman learned who I was.
Yeah,
I was honestly shocked Gordon didn't figure it out by the end. I was like, he's just willfully not doing it at this point.
Gordon never figures it out. Never.
He doesn't want to know. Like, he just does not.
They acted like a married couple.
Okay, yes. When we're talking about gay readings, Gordon, my God, throughout,
he was jealous.
He was jealous. He was upset so many different times about things. It was that one part where he's mad at you for not revealing that Lucius like was your friend. Like that was the whole thing he was mad about. I was like, okay, calm down, jealous boyfriend. Calm down.
Oh, can we talk about Gordon's glow up in this season?
Please.
He looks incredible in season 2. Like in season 1, he's got like a little thin like John Waters mustache. But in like season 2, he's got the bushy, like big, like his whole lip is a mustache, like the silhouette that he's supposed to have. He got like a bunch of the characters got like visually upgraded, and Gordon got it real good. Like he looks way better in season 2.
Oh yeah. Speaking of DILFs, 100%.
He's big and barrel chested and has got a mustache for days. What more could you want?
Yeah. And because I chose to call Gordon, I got my like romance makeup scene with him in that moment where he comes and he's like trying to protect him, and he's like, okay, I'm glad that you cared about our partnership, even if I'm not totally over it, but I love you, but I'm not over it, just to be clear.
I did lose my shit when Lucius died.
I know. I kept waiting for it to not be real. Like I was the whole time just like, okay, Lucius is gonna be back. It's fine. He was not.
Lucius is not fine. Yeah.
He's not fine.
But that led us to Tiffany, who I had never met Tiffany in any Batman media before this.
I know she's in the comics somewhere. Like we didn't invent her whole cloth.
Yeah.
I don't think she's been in a ton of stuff.
No.
I've seen her in the background more recently, but when I played the game, I was like, who the hell's Tiffany? And I had to Google like, was she made up for the game? No. Chris, where did your ending end up with Tiffany?
Tiffany, so she revealed that she killed the Riddler.
Yes.
And then kind of, I guess, ran off, I think is what to do with her.
Yeah.
Did you tell her? Did you tell her you were Batman?
Yes,
I did. Yeah, I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
you guys both did that. So you
again,
both
every chance we had to
yes,
give
I
away our
understand.
secret.
Fair.
Well,
Yeah, you guys both got sidekick Tiffany then. Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
But I tried to bring her in because I found out she murdered Riddler, and I had to like stay true to my my ideals. Like I couldn't treat her differently just because she was someone I cared about.
Meanwhile, I was like, I'll let Catwoman go, I'll let Joker go, I'll let Tiffany go. They're all just there's literally a moment where someone, is it Joker? Because Joker's asking you to let Harley go. And there's a moment where he's like, what is one criminal slipping by? And in my head, I was like, I've already let 3 go. I guess why not Harley? Sure.
You're very loose Batman, very nepotism.
Yeah, loosey goosey.
Literally, my standards was I was gonna take down Amanda Waller, and I didn't care about any other villain.
That's fair though. Like I begrudgingly made that deal with her at the end. Like I just wanted to get rid of her at that point.
Yeah.
So I guess just interesting though. Then the different route is if you don't tell her you are Batman, she joins the agency and works for Waller.
Oh no.
Oh
yeah. So she shows up in some of the scenes that she still shows up in, but instead of being in her like Ninja Turtle sidekick outfit, she's in an agency gray suit with sort of like purple lapels, and so she's using her tech for Waller.
Yeah.
And then the ending scene is like confronting her, but she like leaves. She's leaving. Waller leaves Gotham, and she's leaving with her at the end.
Oh.
And you can sort of try to arrest her there, but she's under agency protection, and you can't.
Yeah.
And it changes upon it. Villain Route 2 has its own Tiffany scenes that are completely different than the ones in Vigilante Route as well. But they're also all conditional based on if she's your sidekick or if she's with the agency.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I love her.
Tiffany may actually be the most conditional character in the whole thing.
Oh.
Like there's just like a bunch of different, like depending on what route you're on and if she's on your side or not, and a couple of things, like you get pretty different Tiffany content.
Yeah. Interesting. And she doesn't really get a code name in this. Did you have in your mind what her code name would be?
Oh, we were gonna call her something Fox because Tiffany Fox.
I love that.
There's like a kind of bat that's a fox bat.
Yeah.
It's been so long I don't remember.
Oh, there is those giant bats that are like 5 feet tall.
It's like yeah. Oh man.
I loved Agent Avesta.
Yes, she's an original character. She's like the one like main original character.
I didn't trust her the entire time.
I didn't up until maybe like halfway through, and then she won me over. And
Vicky Vale burned me so hard in the first game. I'm not kidding. I was like, when's she gonna betray me? I'm ready. I'm waiting. Like she's gonna come, and then like she helps me out at the end, and I'm like, I still don't buy it.
That's fair. Like, I just love, she felt so real and down to earth. And I loved that she was deaf. But, like after the first episode, I thought that was great representation. And she Iranian?
I think it's Iranian or Persian. I can't remember.
Okay. Like, I just love that. Yeah. Like, that little detail.
Because she literally speaks Farsi in some scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got and it was actually the actress, I think, was able to speak some of that. That was part of the reason we cast her.
Oh, that's
awesome.
So cool.
Also, we also found out that the actress also, we didn't know this before filming, went partially deaf at one point.
Oh no.
And so she was like, she was like, oh, this has happened to me, so we can make this very legitimate.
Wow.
I was like, oh my
gosh.
Wow.
Yeah. That was kind of a shocker. But yeah.
She did amazing. I loved that character. By the end, of course, I'm shipping Bruce with Selena and John, but there was something between Bruce and Avesta that felt like something was brewing there, that if there was ever a third game, I was like, I would want her to be helping you. Like, she could even be your new Alfred to a degree.
Oh, are we going to talk about that now?
I was going to say, that could be our segue into that.
Segue right to the very end.
Right. Yeah. Right before you came on, I was like, TJ, is there a happy ending that I didn't get? Because I need to know did I fuck this up or... But TJ and I both got sad endings.
We did. I think either way it would have been sad, no matter what.
what did you choose at the end? So at the end, Alfred's like, I'm out. Like, I can't do this anymore. What did you choose?
I let him leave because Gotham needed Batman.
I also let him leave, but I regretted it.
God.
I regretted it though. I wanted to.
Like, what would have happened if you had stopped being Batman? Like, I don't know. Like, I guess in this world, it felt real for Alfred to ask that of him. But I don't know. Like, Chris, did it run through your mind where I was like, Alfred wouldn't give me this?
No, it didn't, because he's done that before. Like, this is in character. I was literally wondering if I chose the other option, did I end up in a Paris cafe with Catwoman, or?
I can tell you some of the ending Matrix stuff, which is so basically, if you choose to let him, there's no real big world consequences because you don't see really what the world is like after the ending. But like, if you decide to quit being Batman, Bruce and Alfred hug it out. The bat signal in the sky goes dark, and it's like Batman is like, Gotham no longer has a Batman, but like Bruce has chosen to sort of keep this human life together. And then
he wouldn't choose it. So no, I'm interrupting you.
Go ahead.
Your game was so good, it has me frustrated. Where I'm like, Bruce didn't make the decision though.
We wanted that to be as agonizing as fucking possible.
It was.
That's the point at the end, right? It's like,
yes.
And like kind of the thesis of the whole game is like, man, it kind of sucks to be Batman,
right?
like it's miserable. People die all the time. Your life is a mess. Like if you're like, Bruce's life is like actively worse due to being Batman. It's like, maybe is the sacrifice worth it? Like potentially yes, but it's objectively like not a good time.
Yeah, no.
And it's like sort of like tearing Bruce apart, and so it's like it's kind of legitimate basically to choose almost self-care and stop being Batman.
Yeah.
But it's just as in character for Batman, who constantly is alone and often chooses to make himself alone to even let his most important bond, Alfred, go to continue the fight.
Right. Yeah, I don't see, I mean, again, I'm just having read a lot of Batman just recently. I'm like, he's so like committed that I can't see him giving it up. So if I had picked that, I would have felt like I was being like untrue to the Batman that exists in my mind as pure Batman, if that makes sense.
Meanwhile, I was like, I wish I had a restart the scene button, because I was like, I chose wrong. I need to go the other way.
My god!
I was so sad. I was like, I can't do this. I don't care. I want to go back to Alfred.
Can we talk about the part where Alfred says, "There's lasagna in the fridge"?
Oh my god!
It's so good. Suddenly it becomes so. I love the James Windler wrote that scene, and he's amazing. And like the writing at the very end, like Alfred just says these really mundane things, like, well, better get going. There's going to be traffic at the airport. Yeah. Oh, and there's lasagna in the fridge. If you get hungry, I'm sure you can figure it out.
Part of me was like, I don't believe Alfred could stay away.
Oh, you think he'll be back? Is what you're saying?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe.
Can't tell us. Lie to us, please.
Either. I know. I had my. It's like, I don't think like if there was a season 3 at some point, something would have to force Bruce going back to be Batman if you had chosen to not be Batman any longer.
Yeah.
I have my dream season 3 in my brain, and it would eventually have to go back there. It was also just like, I remember we talked a lot to DC about making that choice a thing in the game. Mm-hmm. And it sort of like had to be, it was only acceptable if it really was kind of like on the table that he probably could go back, right?
Of course.
Because otherwise, because like similar to the feeling of that TJ is having, it's like he can't really stop being Batman, or he's like not the character anymore.
Yeah.
So it has to be like on the table as like a way he could like he could go back.
Yeah, I could see it being very in character for him to lie to himself for a few weeks, though. Like that.
Yes.
That seems like him, right?
I mean, I feel like that's happened. I feel like there have been Batman stories where he like tries to quit, and then something so big happens he just has to put the cowl back on. Right?
Are you really a superhero if you haven't tried to quit at least one arc?
No, really. Yeah, you're right. No, that's a character arc of passage for a real superhero.
Yeah. It's hard. Yeah. I will say there's something, which going back to the gayness of this game, there's something about the only time he's happy in this game is when he's spending time with John. And at the at the end, when Alfred leaves, he goes and sees John.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
He's like, "You're all I got, buddy."
Yeah, like
and John is so happy. Like after being that mad for Bruce for betraying him, he was so happy to see him again.
Yes.
Yeah, those little epilogues were my idea because I wanted to put the tiniest I wanted to put, there are 5 different little epilogues actually, depending on the choices. They all feature John in the cell, but slightly different things happen. But like the one where he comes to visit and Joker just giggles, and it's just like, there it is, fanfic art writers, go ahead.
That was the one I got.
Yeah, I assumed you guys both, because to get that, all you have to be on the Vigilante Route and tell John that you were friends.
Oh yeah,
and you can get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's other versions. Yeah, there's a couple other versions of that. It's like there's 5. I'm trying to remember, because like if you say you weren't friends, then Joker looks out the window and sees Batman sort of hanging out on the edge of Arkham.
Oh.
And if you say you weren't friends and you quit being Batman, Joker is in that cell. He also sees the bat signal go out. He's like very despondent.
Yeah.
And then there are 2 of the 2 villain ones. Depending on what you did, he's either he has that little Bruce doll from the bar and he's lighting it on fire. Or it might be the one where I think in the villain route you might also be able to get that Batman on the wall one. There's a bunch of little different conditionals. There's a video of it out there somewhere, but
I love that
little sliver of content.
Ugh.
And that one with the happiest one, which I actually think most people get, is the they're like, it could work out maybe, because it's like it's like I like the ultimate message overall is like, John could possibly be fixable, but he's in like the worst scenario for his particular mental problems. like
100%.
He should not be hanging out with Batman. Like Batman like his relationship with Batman absolutely exacerbates his problem with his tendencies.
Oh yes.
There's an ongoing message of he's like damaging to the emotional psyche of many people around him.
Yeah, I was gonna say Batman has never made anyone healthier. Like
yeah.
Oh,
like even when he trains a Robin or something, he's still like, I know how to rehabilitate you. You'll become a vigilante.
Yeah. Just look at the whole story arc of Tim Drake's mental health. Good God.
I know. Last time we recorded, I mentioned my idea for a 3rd game. I once again have something written down, so I'm just going to share it.
Okay, please.
I would love to see a 3rd installment where Bruce is working with Gordon and Vesta as Batman. Selina could finally be his steady love interest. Tiffany could be a villain. John could be like a Hannibal type consultant in Arkham. And Bruce needs a legit sidekick. I'd love to see a Robin, maybe Dick or Tim, since Tiffany kind of filled that role of a troubled sidekick already. Maybe even a version of Kate Kane. This doesn't feel like an ending, though. Feels like there needs to be more game. Please. There's my essay.
I like how bluntly honest you are about your pitch there.
Yeah.
It's an ending in the way where you're like left wanting more, and I'm like,
yeah.
I believe you have a premise there.
Yeah.
If it ever happens, I'm ready. Got your pitch. No.
Good mind. I keep wondering when Cassandra Cain is going to make it into a mainline thing, because like she's just such a cool visual,
Yes.
Like the Batman with the the female Batman with the no face. It's just so cool. And so it's like I don't know when she's going to get wrapped into like a movie or something, but it feels like it's inevitable.
It has to happen, right? We want it.
Yeah.
Give it.
She was in Birds of Prey, but that was like it
was a different interpretation.
Yeah.
She wasn't a Batman, really.
Right.
No.
Yeah. She would be great. I know last time you had said like you would do like an OG Robin, maybe.
I want to do a game where you play as a Robin. That would
that would be so fun.
Yeah, I want to do I think I pitched last time, the game where you play as Robin and your choices make you turn into one of several different Robins.
Yeah.
Like you become Robin or Nightwing or Red Hood and see where it goes from there.
Yes.
Because I just wanted to do a game where you didn't get to play as Batman again, because Batman is so restrictive as far as the kind of choices he's allowed to make and stay consistent with the character.
Yeah.
But Robin, if you're Robin, you could be like, you go all the way from do good or hero to murdering people with double pistols. Like that's all within the realm of the sort of like this uber Robin.
What if you did like Terry McGinnis, but like made him however you wanted him?
Oh, that's very clever. I didn't think about it being Terry.
Hire me.
That's good.
I'm available.
That's a good idea, because that actually fixes a hole in my pitch, because I'm like, who could the Robin be? Like, because you could just call him Dick or whatever, but then it's like weird if Grayson becomes the Red Hood or whatever. I don't know actually which Robin is the Red Hood.
That's Jason.
Okay. So then it's like, but if it's Terry McGinnis and he's like earlier in the timeline for some reason, you know, he's not. Then he could turn all kinds of things.
Kat, I love these games. I'm sure you know that already. Just they're such a good adaptation, and like I feel like it's just such a good mixture of like the Nolan realism and then everything else. Like it's not too much one thing, not too much another. To me, this is like one of my favorite interpretations of Batman.
Yeah, you managed to make it, you lean into the dark without making it bleak and hopeless, which I think sometimes is the overcorrection that people do with Batman. There's always still hope, which makes making choices fun, right? Like it wouldn't be fun if you didn't think there was a chance that could work out. So I love that.
Yeah, thank you guys. I work with a ton of amazingly talented people to make these things, and they are easily one of my favorite things I've ever have had the privilege of working on.
Yeah.
So thank you for those glowing reviews.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Your work paid off. All of your guys' work paid off, and
100%.
Thank you for making it as gay as you possibly could.
Yes.
Just right up to the razor's edge of gay. Like if it was one drop gayer, it wouldn't have worked.
I also gotta say, just full compliments for the storyline of this one being like, let's push Bruce Wayne to the very limits of the things he's not good at. And I don't mean physically, I mean having to rely on making friends, his least ability that he has.
Yeah, when you put it that way, you're absolutely right. Also, just it's good for our kind of game, right? Because like we're not making an action game, so the game is not really about fighting, even though we have those fight scenes. So it like has to be about navigating relationships.
Yeah.
So leaning into that aspect of like, it's hard for Bruce Wayne to maintain his personal life. It's like a core element of the gameplay. It just kind of made sense.
Yeah, or even just like your entire undercover mission relies on you making people like you. And I'm like, that's not a skill he has.
Yeah, a little 102 free walk where you have to make friends with all the villains, and you can like make friends with Bane if you give him beer.
Yes, I did. Really... I did make friends with Bane. It was fun.
Me too.
That's good.
Chris, why are we the same person?
We're bad at this because we do the same things.
What did you guys? I guess I'm gonna find out the answer is the same. But at the end of episode 3, was it you in the capsule or Selena?
So I was in the capsule because I couldn't risk losing her, and I knew I was the main character, so I would have to live somehow.
I was also in the capsule. We didn't lose an ear part this time, unlike last time on my account.
No, but that,
can you tell us what happens if she goes in?
Yes, so it branches the beginning of episode 4 a lot. So the entire heist, they're basically you see the heist and you're part of it. So the villains go to the spa that has the evil laboratory under it, because of course. But you go there still in your villain, costume with all the bad guys, and Catwoman is left behind. So you go in there and they're trying to break in and steal everything. So you're kind of trying to make it so they cause as little collateral damage as possible. Like Harley is about to like shoot the guy at the reception counter, and instead you punch him, which I guess is nicer because he doesn't die. And there's all these like goofy stuff where like Joker is like looking at doors as he goes in, and you're like part of the action scenes. Like they fight like security turrets and stuff in the hallway. And then eventually you get to the point where they have to get into the big room that has the virus thing in the middle. And Bruce kind of finds a way to slip by the traps and get in there by himself first, and then he's sabotaging the virus thing. And Bane and Harley, who are outside, like trapped by turrets, realize you're doing that, and then Bane breaks in and attacks you. And then you sort of have a little action scene where you fight them as Bruce.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's not as elaborate as the Batman one, because I think the agents show up sooner in that version.
Yeah.
But and then Selena's not there at all.
Huh.
Oh.
Interesting.
I'm looking at my like final character relationship cards I had at the end, and I just thought you might find this funny. My one with Harley says, you and 0% of players told her you would bring her to justice.
Yeah,
I will tell you, I don't think the stats work anymore.
Okay.
No, that some of them are kind of. We said like 0.1% of Catwoman. Like that's probably true. 0%. That just seems like a bug. Because like this, Telltale got shut down, so the servers are all on haywire, and who knows if new Telltale will hook them up right.
Okay.
But anyways, but your states are still true for you. I just don't know if they're true for percentages.
Right.
Yeah, because I definitely didn't do that.
I thought I was just really, really special.
Oh, yeah, there's that bit where Harley shows up at the yard as Agent Harley. She like shoots at you with a helicopter.
Yes, and apparently I told her I would bring her in, even though she was protected by Amanda Waller. Which I think fuck that bitch, both of them.
Wait, we kind of glazed over the fact. Yeah, we glazed over the fact that Waller's this game. I fucking love Waller so much.
She was such a good antagonist.
I've always loved Waller. Yeah, exactly. Well, she's like, she's not she kind of is the villain, but like, I love the idea of Amanda Waller, and especially like, there's that one classic image of Waller, I think, from the first comic she showed up in, where she's this little stout black woman, like pointing her finger at Batman's big chest, who's like double her height, and he's like reeling backwards. And so just like the idea of a character who is so powerful and can like keep Batman like against the wall with just like the force of her personality. I just love that.
Yeah.
And
now TJ, I've got to ask, did you choose the option of telling Gordon that the reason you're doing all these things is because Amanda is like holding things over you? Because I definitely did. And it led
something, I forget exactly. I remember he asked me what she has on me, and I don't think I told him what it was.
I told him, and he just is like righteously furious on your behalf. He's like, she's doing what? And he like loses his goddamn mind. Like he is ready to fight this woman.
Yeah, like I left it like open. Like I don't think I said anything, but I let him think she did. Like he figured it out.
It was straight up so dramatic. I loved it so much.
Yeah.
I do remember that bit.
Yeah, it was good.
Amanda was just like, I loved to hate her. She was really good. When you found out she knew your identity, I was shook.
I know.
It's such a good cliffhanger. It's so good.
So good.
We hand animated that shot and everything too. We're like, this has to be perfect. Also, fun story. So like her voice actor is Deborah Wilson, who is one of my favorite working voice actors. She has a big role in one of the new Wolfenstein. She plays like a motion capture version of herself, and she was in Jedi Fallen Order, also basically as herself. And she's just super, super good. And meeting her, like she's like a crazy person, but like in a good way. She's very energetic. When I met her, the first thing that she did was demonstrate. She was very excited. She was super hyped up to play Waller, and she demonstrated that she could both bark like a dog and cry like a baby, and like super accurately. And when she cried like a baby, she like descended her whole head into her chest, basically, and like made the most realistic baby noise I've ever heard.
Oh my!
But also, so she's wild, and the experience of meeting her was cool. But also, she got to the point of the script, like at the very end, where she's reading ahead, and she goes Bruce Wayne, and she like couldn't believe like Amanda Waller knew, and she was so excited. It was just very funny. She was so into that character.
I love that.
Yeah. I could have her read me the phone book, and I try to get her into every game I work on. She had a cameo part in the last Walking Dead thing I did as well. She's real good. She's part of the reason I like that portrayal of Waller so much, because she just sounds amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
The entire voice cast just so good.
Yeah.
So there's outtakes of Amanda Waller barking and crying, is what you're telling me?
I don't know if we recorded that stuff, but she did it unprompted, and I was like, that's impressive. Thank you.
Oh,
that's so cute.
Oh my gosh. Side note, I just bought the like Ultimate Walking Dead collection game. So
I guess I directed that collection. So there you go.
Yeah. So
Yay!
So I have it's like 4 seasons, is that right?
It's 4 seasons and the Michonne miniseries. So it's technically 5 little games. That was the last thing I worked on for Skybound. We spent a couple months putting all the games together and polishing up all the graphics and putting all these Easter eggs and stuff. And like, it was
awesome. I have the PS4 one, so I'm gonna play that here soon.
Yeah, enjoy. Yeah, Walking Dead: The Final Season is the thing I directed after Batman.
Oh, okay.
And that was my first time as creative director, so I was really like top creative on that thing. And I had the Batman creative team with me on that one too.
Oh wow.
James Windler, the lead writer, and Michael Kirkbride, the lead designer, were basically we were like the trio that were like the lead on the Batman stuff, and they were like, "You guys get Walking Dead now," and I was like, "Yes." And so then we got to work on that one, and Telltale shut down in the middle of making that game, but it still came out. It still came out good because Skybound saved it and helped us finish it. Oh, I want to talk about episode 3 has the Catwoman fight in Riddler's lair.
Yes.
Which I just want to mention because like that episode's plot changed a lot, but I insisted the one thing I really wanted that episode was a sexy, in quotations, a sexy dance fight.
Yeah.
Which
got Joker hot and bothered too.
The part where he goes, "Is this flirting?"
Yes, and he later on is like, that dance was wow. Bisexual panic.
Yeah. What move should I use with the ladies? You know, like you and Catwoman. That shit was good. I mean, you guys both got Vigilante, so I kind of know which way you went. Unfortunately.
It's true.
Yeah, Villain Route's got a bunch of good stuff in it.
I believe you, but Vigilante is all I ever wanted. This again.
That is completely fine. Yeah.
I don't like Joker usually. Your Joker is the only Joker I like 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you. I like classic Joker in sort of this like campy sort of way when he's done well, but like often Joker is just sort of used as he's just a cackling serial killer. And it's like, where's the fun? But if he's fun, then like he works, you know.
Yeah,
but
100%.
Very few other Joker stories humanize Joker in this way.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably what makes you like it, because
he's
just a monster.
You humanize him without giving us his backstory, which I think is another mistake. Sometimes people try to give the backstory. I'm not calling out the Joker movie or anything, but
sure.
I'm just saying, I think it's a mistake when people do that. And this manages to humanize him without ever revealing anything about him. And I loved it.
Well, like, I feel like the Joker movie was trying to get you to root for him no matter what was happening, which whether it succeeded or not in that,
it didn't.
I think it did for some people. And I don't know if that's the Joker I want. So like, with this version, I feel like I was never rooting for John in terms of like the action. Like I wanted him to become a better person and do better, but I wasn't rooting for him in terms of like, take her down or anything like that. And I think that's the difference for me between those two versions. So I we all know which one me and Chris prefer, but that's just my take on it.
Yeah, that said, if there was ever a way to have like an AU where Batman and Joker just become like Thelma and Louise villains together just on a road trip, I would have been for it.
God, I wish I'd find it. There's so much fan art was drawn when it was coming out that was like basically everything's fine AU. And like people just drawing like cute like Joker and Batman working together as vigilantes.
That's and so like charming.
And like Joker doesn't show up to a robbery because he's getting a frappuccino, and it's like just like cute shit like that.
I love that.
Fan art on the like whatever like the Telltale Batman tag on Tumblr or whatever probably has you covered.
Good.
And I was trying to find some on Twitter.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, Tumblr was still a thing back when this game came out. It was still active,
right.
As opposed to being the sort of graveyard it is now.
I'll have to go digging through the graveyard.
That was the place for cute gay fan art of almost anything you wanted.
That's true. That's true.
Definitely Telltale Batman.
Oh, good. I'm glad everything is fine. AU exists. That's all I want. The coffee shop AU where they just like quit being superheroes altogether and just open a coffee shop.
That's all you need. Alfred's in the back brewing.
Yeah, Alfred's so happy.
John's running the register, you know.
This is all Alfred wanted.
versus like John, stop trying to stab the customers.
Yeah, somebody doesn't tip well and Joker just loses his shit. Oh, good.
Well, our question that we ask everyone, we already asked you last time.
That's true. So I actually have a different question this time.
Okay.
What is your Batman-related hill you will die on?
Oh, what's my Batman-related hill I will die on?
Joker's bisexual. That's mine.
Yeah, I feel like enough people are on that hill.
Yeah. It doesn't need another death.
Yeah. What's a Batman related hill I will die on? I'm trying to think about it. It's like something about Bruce needs therapy. Like
100%.
Like something about like it's like it's a thing we do in this game. It's like being Batman should not work out.
Yeah.
Like if you're tackling with any sort of realism, and I don't mean like gritty realism. I mean like thinking about how this would actually go for people who had to do it. Like the Batman thing should kind of destroy Bruce, or it should be like there should be like a way out of this. Like,
Yeah.
it's not good to keep doing what he's doing because and I guess this is a hill that people are on now too. It's like the thing I kind of like about the abandoned Batman ending is he kind of mentions about like maybe there's like other ways I could fight. I could like fund stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that's what you should do.
Yeah.
if you were like funding like modern like community focused policing or something, or like literally anything but putting on a costume and punching people with your massive resources.
Right.
Like Batman is a vanity project.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason that Bruce should go do this stuff himself. He should be like training an organization or like reforming the police or something like that. But instead, because literally it's because of his ego. Like it is a selfish act to be Batman. He has the privilege that he can. And I don't see enough Batman works examining it from that angle. Actually, very recently I watched have you guys watched Invincible?
No. You have, TJ, right?
Yes, I watched like 3 or 4 episodes. I'm not done yet though.
Okay, well this isn't really a spoiler, but at one point one of the superheroes basically goes like, why am I like punching bank robbers? Like I could be like using my superpowers to like till fields in Africa. And then like she flies around and like uses psychic powers basically to like fix irrigation problems in like third world countries. And I'm like, yeah, that's what Superman should be doing. He should be like Superman can plow 1 million fields or like harvest all the corn in the world or something.
Yeah.
But nobody does that because they got to fight aliens. So
one of my favorite comics ever is the somewhat recent Hellcat comics, where she quits being a superhero and starts an agency helping former superheroes get jobs using their powers to do good that isn't superheroing. It's so cute.
Oh, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Okay. There's my hill. Bruce could do something better with his money.
Yes. Yeah, there's even a moment in the game where he's like fussing at Joker for doing something violent, and Joker's like, but you hurt people all the time. Like, I don't, where's this righteousness coming from here?
Yeah, man. And Bruce gets even more violent season 2. He's like stabbing people with batarangs all the time. Like, Bruce is not doing no harm.
No. The fact that he doesn't kill people is frequently just a technicality. Like,
yeah, those people are in traction. Those people are not coming up again.
Yeah, he's just breathing. He's just lucky that no one has died. Truly.
I'm flashing back to me impaling people in the last game.
You're flashing back to...
Oh, you impaled Falcone in the first game.
Yeah.
I managed to not do that. Still just reminding you.
And hey, you got your karma in this game because Batman gets impaled by rebar in this game.
That scene. Oh my God.
Oh, in that scene, here's a choice. In that scene, did you try to tell Selena you loved her?
I didn't this time. I learned from my mistakes.
I see. I can't remember. I think I did.
Because I was the idiot who told her I loved her after 2 weeks of knowing her in the first game.
I did not do
so
that.
much.
It made her so mad that I was like, I'm not doing that again. I think I was like, I'm glad you're here, I think is what I said instead. So it's still romantic, but I played it a little cooler this time.
Yeah, if you try to say it, he just kind of like passes out mid saying it to finish. So it's even more of a tease. He's like, Selena, I love her. She's like, Bruce. He's like, Batman.
Oh, I love that.
Never works out. That's what makes it interesting.
At least she didn't laugh at him this time, because that's what happened to me last time.
That's true. She's not gonna laugh at you when you're bleeding to death. She has some tact, just a little.
Fair enough.
I'll say one fun thing. When you guys didn't see this scene, but there's a scene in the villain route where a bunch of guys in clown masks jump you.
Oh.
And all these guys in clown masks, they're all cackling and laughing, and all those laughs are my fellow coworkers and myself.
Oh, cute!
I was in a booth for one day. I was like cackling, like doing different maniacal laughter.
I love
like recording
that.
other people doing maniacal laughter, and so we just like filled out the scene. And listening to it today, I can still pick out like, oh, that's Jonah's laugh. Oh, that's Gambino's laugh. Like, but if you ever do watch that scene, you hear all that cackling. I'm in there somewhere.
Oh, good! I love that. I think my favorite little tiny detail was the license plate on Joker's car saying "Little Puddin'."
That's right.
Joker's amazing car.
His amazing car.
Vigilante Joker is so good.
Oh, I love him so much. Well, where can our listeners find you on social media? And do you have any projects you can tell us about?
Yeah, you can follow me at Kent Mudle. That's my first last name on Twitter. And I'm still working on my comic Beret, which you can read on Tapas, and there's a link to it on my Twitter.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah.
Thank you both for having me. This was super fun. Always a good time.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Gotham Outsiders. You can find me, Chris, on Twitter at The Myth of Psyche, where I talk feminism, queerness, psychology, books, and oftentimes Batman. You can also now find me at talkingcomics.com, where I write reviews and a column and sometimes the news about comics. You'd also find my co-host TJ
at TroyFinn2 on Twitter, where I talk about all things book related and Batman more often than I used to.
And you can find us both on Twitter at Gotham Outsiders, where we talk about Batman all the time. Join us next time. Same bat time, same bat place.